Hello, everybody. Just wanted to show you my Old Navy sweatshirt and tell you a little story about this. My name is Sarah, also known as Weight Watcher, Cape Cod woman. So, a little too bright. Anyway, funny story about this. I was working 8 years ago as an overnight auditor at the Sheraton Hotel down here on Cape Cod. And the best part about it was that we had a lot of celebrities stay there because we have a little entertainment tent across the street. So that would be the biggest perk, because after their concerts, they would come over and spend the night, unless they had a bus. So anyway, I was working there and I was still the same. So it was 8 years ago. So I was like 56, 57. And so I was the only one there. Well, we had a security guy, but he slept by the pool most of the time. Anyway, it was probably the worst, funkiest Sheraton ever. It was sold and redone, and it's beautiful now. But anyway, so I'm working there as a night auditor. And so we had to wear these hideous polyester uniforms, which, I'm sure you've seen in these hotels, where we all look the same, little cookie cutter people. And I was the only one on. And I still had my sense of humor back then and all the stuff. And so anyway, at like 4 or 5 in the morning, the world would come alive with deliveries and all that kind of stuff. And there was this young dude. I had a Jeep Wrangler, still have it, and he had one too. But he probably didn't know that I had a Jeep Wrangler because I was behind the desk. And the place was always freezing, because you know how these places are. They have one setting and it's 50 for their AC. So he would come in every day, and, I'm older, I'm a woman, I don't have any markings on my skin. He was totally pierced out, totally tattooed, okay? Now, I used to deliver newspapers too. Yes, I've had many lives. And so I know the uniform. You wake up in the middle of the night and you put on the same thing every single day. You don't care. You're going to get black and dirty from all the newspaper print. So Freddie is just being a kitten. So anyway, this dude would come in, and he's all tatted and groovy and maybe even stoned, who knows, to put the newspapers in those little, dollar machines where you can buy your Boston newspapers. And so he never paid any attention to me whatsoever. And it was just so funny. I'm just totally amused, because I'm a people person and I'm an observer of people's behaviors. And so, we had a huge lost and found, of course, because, how many phone chargers did we have? And so, so here I am in this little, polyester navy blazer with my little white shirt. Just, how horrible that is, right? And so I wear it every night, and so it's freezing. And so sometimes I've wrapped myself in a blanket. But in the lost and found, every day he came in, he had on an Old Navy sweatshirt. Okay, never made eye contact with me. He just took his tatted and pierced body over to the machines, put in the papers, and left, And I was trying to, have him warm up to me, because I'm amused. It's entertainment. It's the middle of the night. And so somebody left this Old Navy, this is 8, 9 years ago, left their Old Navy sweatshirt in, they left it at the hotel. And so I said, this is going to be perfect. I will put it on when I know he's about due, and I will stand there at attention at the desk like we were supposed to do for all the people that weren't there at 4 in the morning. And when he walked by, I went hey. And he looked over and he immediately got me. But it took the Old Navy sweatshirt, just like his Old Navy sweatshirt, for him to see that I wasn't this starchy overnight old lady, with pictures of my grandchildren, under the desk that I could look at, and posting my recipes on someplace, that I had a little spark to me, because he never really saw me in action. Well, I don't mean that kind of action. I mean, behind the desk with people, my personality. And so from then on, we were friends. So every morning when I put on my Old Navy sweatshirt to walk through town with my hood up in the dark, I always think of him, because I do walk by that hotel, and I always think of him and wonder what he's doing now with all of his piercings and his tattoos. Delivering newspapers was probably the only place he could find work. Oh, I think he left and he went to work in a tattoo piercing shop. But But anyway, okay, so enough of my little story that took up 5 minutes. It might be a 2 cup of coffee kind of video. So as I was walking, I got 2 topics. The other one I will do after this, but this is the first one. And it is about finding a sponsor, a food sponsor, or a food mentor. And as all of us know, the people that are motivated and go-getters in the world have somebody that is an inspiration to them. Now, it might be somebody that you never even meet, like, a lot of people like Oprah or Donald Trump or Mark Cuban or the people on Shark Tank that are go-getters with entrepreneurship. But most of them have some sort of inspiration to do something. I like Warren Buffett myself, a self-made man for sure. And so with our food programs, when I began my food journey in Overeaters Anonymous, I had what you call a food sponsor. And this was back in the 70s. And so every morning I would write down exactly what I was going to eat. They did have menu suggestions, their food plans then. And so I would write down what I was going to eat, and at 6:45 I would call my sponsor. And I would give it away. It was called Giving Away Your Food. And I would tell her exactly what I was going to eat. And maybe I'd be craving or whining or something about some food that I couldn't have or I wanted. And I was pretty disciplined on that program because I knew that, the gig was up. My food binging was up. And so she would say, you can have whatever you want tomorrow, but today you have to have what you gave away to me just now and nothing else. And it stuck. And every day at 6:45, I would call her. Her name was Dee Dee. I would call Dee Dee and give away my food. Now today, we have the tracker here with Weight Watchers. And if you have watched me, you know that I put in the bones of my week. I did it yesterday. Yesterday was a Thursday. Today is Friday. Don't know when this airs, and so for the next week, starting with Saturday, that's my weigh-in day, and I started to put in the food, and I put in the bones of the food because I've gone through the flyers and seen what proteins are on sale, like swordfish or cod or something like that, and plan my week with food, and then I'll add the veggies and the other stuff later. And so it's in there, and then I begin to tweak it, like when I get another moment. Even at work, I can pull it up online and put in my food, or I can take my tablet there and do the same when I have a moment, because Sundays aren't as busy. And so I kind of get, a grasp on what I'm going to have. And then, as a lot of you know, the night before, I kind of pull it together. Like if I'm having 4 ounces of Greek yogurt, I put it in a little glass jar, or 4 ounces of cottage cheese, I put it in a little glass jar. If I'm having a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, I put it in my little jar. So I kind of prep as much as I possibly can. I wash my fruit, I put it on a towel, and so I kind of line up what I'm going to be bringing to work, because I leave for work at like 7 in the morning. And so I kind of do those sort of things. But, I'm considered a food sponsor to 3 local women, and they check in with me about their foods and their frustrations and their whatevers. And so if you're slipping and sliding or whining about things not working in your favor, how about considering a food mentor, a food sponsor? I know it was key for me when I was in Overeaters Anonymous. And if some of you go to the face-to-face meetings, of course you can adore your leader and get so much from her, but I don't know if you have 24/7 access to her. Even I wouldn't want 24/7 access to me, but, somebody that you can chat with, you can, message, you can email, that kind of has your back, that kind of knows your issues, your triggers, your time of the month sort of cravings that kick in, that knows you, that you can check in with. And like so many people in the business world, celebrity world, they have somebody that they looked up to. Somebody that gave them the 10 fingers up, whether it was an opportunity or a job or something, or just a good verbal just a good verbal, you can go do it, and then they go do it. And I just really think it's very, very, very important to expose yourself to another person that's further down this path with you. Maybe they're on maintenance, maybe they're close to maintenance, maybe they're just disciplined and structured enough to give you what they have. And what we say in 12-step programs is that when you sponsor somebody, when you mentor somebody, you're getting even more than they will ever know out of it. Say I'm food sponsoring somebody here, and they say, I really want to eat that such and such and such and such at the cookout. It's got my name all over it, and I really want it. And what do you think? And this and that. And say that I was like starting to build up to a craving or a trigger or, wanting something and just to be naughty. And, she will never know how much she helped me because I'm accountable. A food sponsor or food mentor is accountable. Like I am here on this YouTube channel. There's a dependency that we develop on somebody that has a strong structure or voice or, track record. And we look at them and we depend on them, and it's not a needy codependency, but if I came back to you and I said, I went out this weekend big time, I went and stayed in a hotel and I had room service and I didn't track and you'd be disappointed. So I'm accountable in a way to you guys as well as to the people that I'm face to face with about walking the walk, not just talking the talk, I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger from the neck down. I got to walk the walk. And so a food mentor or a food sponsor is going to be just so much in your corner for you, and it's going to help them too. Trust me, it's not a burden. Giving back what we've got, that's why I started doing this, because I love being on maintenance, and I love the tracking, and I love what it's done for me. I have a little biter right here, and I love what it's done for me, and I want to share it and hope that it can spark you. I might not be for everybody. I see other people with YouTube videos for Weight Watchers stuff. In fact, I had one as a subscribe. I subscribed to her channel, and she was doing Weight Watchers, and guess what? After 12 weeks, she jumped to the Atkins diet, and it's like, oh, okay, I won't be jumping to the Atkins diet, okay? Just so you know. So, my food things are evolving, but it's not evolving out of Weight Watchers and what it's given me. Weight Watchers gave me the permission to eat the foods that I love, to explore within my points, which are 26 a day, to explore what works for me, And I see people struggling on my site, some of my members of my channel, and my heart goes out to them, and I try to give them, a little boost and just say, you can do it. There's one woman that talks about having a 100% day and building on that 100%. That's the success of a substance abuse 12-step program. It's not drinking or doing drugs that day and then waking up the next day and you've got one clean day of sobriety or being clean from drugs. Same thing here. And it builds on you. It builds here. So then you want to do the next day because it's so much easier. When I did my forbidden food video a few days ago, I talked about having the binge food. I mean, we're talking the binge food from when I was 9 or 10 years old. You can do the math. I'm almost 65. That's a lot of years of that binge food. And so doing it, I know that when I have something not as forbidden as that was for all those years, but something else that I need to stay away from, I know that if I have it, I allow it, I track it, that's all fine and good. But there is a food hangover. Just here to tell you, there's a food hangover that happens, and it takes a couple of days. If I have, for example, a sweet 2 days in a row, guess what I want the third day? Guess what my body is craving? Guess what my body has to withdraw from? It has to withdraw from that craving. If I have it once, I will have the emotional craving the next day. But my body won't be screaming, have it again, have it again, like it does after day 2. I just know my body. That's just me. Maybe it's not that way for you. But I know that I can have in a controlled environment, which is the structure of the Weight Watcher tracker, I can have that one item, count the points, as long as I know that the next day I'm going to feel it a little bit, I'm going to miss it a little bit, but I need to move on. In fact, I have to tell you that when I have a sugary thing that I plan, that I track, that is not a typical Weight Watcher friendly food, that I've allowed myself to have on maintenance, I have to have something that is not sweet right after it. It's really kind of weird. So say I have that sweet object, I've tracked the points, I've enjoyed every single bite of it, I will have to have something like some steamed broccoli. I know it sounds odd, but it cuts that taste, cuts that whole thing in my head, and it's like I've moved on. In fact, from the minute I take that first bite of the vegetable after having the treat, I begin the detox withdrawal process. I can enjoy it. I know that I savored it every single bite, but I know that I've had to move on. It's just how quirky it is with me. So follow the Facebook blog pages. Go to a meeting. Listen to somebody there that's got it going on, that it works for. Ask them. Say, can you help me out? Even if it's like here on a Facebook thing that you're on, one of the Weight Watcher Facebook sites. If you see somebody that has it together, that does a lot of stuff, private message them and say, hey, would you be interested in helping, giving me 10 fingers up, just helping me get a grasp of this program, the buddy system. And, maybe they don't have time. Maybe they do have time. Maybe they're already doing it. I don't know. Feel them out. This program is a we program. Obviously, we're not doing it, thank God for social media, right? So I just hope that those of you that are slipping and sliding and just really struggling with it, you can't afford the 40-something dollars for both places, the tracker online and the face-to-face meetings, Be inventive, be motivated to find somebody that can keep you motivated, that knows you, that you can tell on yourself if you have to. The program works, but you don't have to do it on your own. Obviously we're not doing it on our own. We're here, we're talking. The postings that come after a video, same thing on the Facebook ones. So take care of yourself, know that there's people out there that can help you. They helped me get to where I am, and now I help people, stay on their track, right? Okay, so that's it. That's enough of me. It's 17 minutes long. It was like a 2-cup of coffee type of video. I hope you enjoyed my little motivating words and my little funny little Old Navy story. This is for you, James, wherever you are. God knows. Have a wonderful, wonderful Weight Watcher tracking day. And I will see you the next time. This has been Sarah, Weight Watcher, Cape Cod woman. Bye-bye for now.